Have you ever thought if you could just keep the pests and diseases out of the garden in the first place, your crops would grow great? Although we can't always keep the pests out of the garden unless you're growing your plants inside, you can take steps to reduce the pest problems. I'm Dr. Denise DeBus from Rescue My Plant, where I guide you to rescue your own plants. And here are 5 steps you can take during this cooler time to reduce your pest problems for the spring. During the winter, you don't usually see any pests, so where do they go? Various insects overwinter in different stages. Tomato/tobacco hornworms overwinter as pupa. So if you had them on your tomatoes, then you should till the soil up after you discard the plant and see if you have any pupae and discard them. Other caterpillar pests and beetles also overwinter as pupae in the soil. Squash bugs overwinter as adults under leaves and rocks and in plant debris near the garden. You can clean up your leaves and put them in your compost, checking to see if they're there. If so, you can put them in soapy water. For diseases, several types of pathogens overwinter as spores on plant debris, especially fungi. Once the conditions are right for them, that's when they will reinfect your plant. You want to make sure that you clean up any leaves that were diseased and pull any plant parts left in the ground. You'll want to bag and discard any diseased plants. If you had any problems with diseases or nematodes, starting seeds with resistant varieties will help solve that problem the next season. For example, if my tomato got fusarium wilt, which causes yellowing and wilting of the plant, then I may want to start seeds of early girl tomatoes that have resistance to the disease, since many diseases come back year after year. Many of the seed packets have codes for what diseases they are resistant to. Since fusarium wilt have different races, there are 3 different codes, F, FF, or FFF, depending on which races they have resistance. By growing your own plants from seed, you can select plants based on the situation going on at your home. You can block out some pests by putting up physical barriers such as floating row covers or insect mesh. These covers can be placed over the plants or supported on hoops. Make sure you have the edges secured or weighed down so that the pests can't simply go under them. These work well for caterpillars, maggots, aphids, and squash bugs. When I plan out a garden, I look to see which plants to place next to each other to get the most benefit. I recently planted bare root strawberries. I looked to see the best companion plants for strawberries, and I saw that lettuce and onions were good. Lettuce can help shield the berries from birds, and onions can deter pests. Even peas are good next to strawberries in order to add nitrogen to the soil, and strawberries need a lot of nutrients. I'm also planning on adding borage to help attract pollinators and predators for any pests. Tomatoes with marigolds is common to deter pests, including nematodes. One way I always say to prevent pests is to keep your plant healthy. Plants are more susceptible to pests and diseases if they are stressed. The plants are not as able to withstand the damage if they are unhealthy. In order to keep a plant healthy, it needs to have the proper irrigation and fertilization. It should also have proper spacing. In general, plants won't grow well, especially root vegetables like carrots and beets, if they are not thinned out. Also, make sure your soil is healthy, teeming with beneficial microorganisms. Adding compost can provide that. Microorganisms can provide plants defenses against pests and diseases. These are just a few of the ways to prevent pests in the garden. Which ways do you use, and what are your biggest problems? I hope you enjoyed this presentation on preventing pests so it is ready for your spring garden. Many gardeners struggle with knowing how to fix their plants and how to make their garden look good. At Rescue My Plant, I have a process that helps them identify and manage problems so that their edible garden provides nutritious and organic food to feed their family. I'm a trained plant doctor and educator with over 15 years of experience. Stay tuned for courses, blog posts, and a community to help solve your gardening needs. You can visit my website at rescuemyplant.com, email me, or like my Facebook page.